first ideas, basically, right? And yeah, you are continuing to do so ever since. To reference a great and in the end not so great TV show, you are the mother of Zeedz. Can you say this? I'm not sure. Let's talk about it. Also, according to Alicia's personal Instagram account, she is a friend of horses and plants. Whatever this might mean, we will talk about it today. Alicia studied at the ultra prestigious animation workshop school in Denmark. And yeah, Alicia, we both know each other from back in our days at Mind. You were a designer in the video company I ran at that time. And yeah, everybody was very aware of your extreme talent at that time. Today, Alicia is art director and chief design officer, CDO at Zeedz, and I'm very happy that you are here. Hello, that was my starting monologue.
Hello, and thank you for that. Yeah,
Wonderful.
it's really nice to be part of this. Like Sven said, basically we've known each other for some time, and then we got back together again. And I can only advertise the same for him. So it's a very nice company to work with, and a company to be with, like personal company, not company as an industrial company, but like friendly company. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. And
Exactly. Let's dive in. Friends, so in general, I don't know how long this talk will last. I mean, certainly not for hours, but let's see how it runs. And you have the chance to answer some questions. We will get to them in the end. I will just randomly pick questions. You can put them in the general channel or in the discussions channel, and I will pick them in the end. I am hearing myself twice. Now it's gone, I think. I think Sarah, you just joined, and I think you have to mute yourself. Okay, let's continue. So, Alicia, I think it's always cool. So this goal of this like team member spotlight special podcast section is also like to get a bit to know the people more in our team, also on a personal level. Maybe you can provide to the people like a feeling like where are you from, where are you located, like yeah, like a little bit of your like personal geographic background.
yeah, so I'm from Germany, like Sven. Technically, I'm in Denmark partly for my studies, but right now I'm back in Germany and enjoying some home feeling. Yeah, back again. I might be switching between Germany and Denmark for a while, but Europe it is for now.
Europe it is. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And because as most of you know, I suppose we are a super international team, right? Alicia, are you still here? I think you're...
Yeah, sorry. I just accidentally stopped my camera. But can you still see me? It looks like no. Wait, I'm gonna...
No.
Just keep talking. I'm still here.
Okay. Let's see if you can get this thing back on. Yeah,
okay, now
there
I'm
it is.
Now I'm back.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Wonderful. No problem. So I want to talk a little bit about the design stuff in general at first, because I think, I know that in our community there are many people like who also like either are already designers or like can picture themselves in the future as designers. So whether like a particular time, like when you just know this is what I want to do in my life, it's designing, and then you went this exact road, and today you're here as chief design officer of Zeedz, or how did this work for you?
Well, I think I never stopped drawing from kindergarten on, but I was pretty sure I didn't want to do that as a job because everyone kind of knows the picture of the starving artist. And I also didn't know the digital art existed. And then at some point when Instagram kind of got big, because I'm still pretty young, like I'm born 2000, so Instagram kind of hit around 2013, and then I was exposed to more artists on Instagram. And I think that's also mainly what I use social media for, to just check out other people. And then you get inspired. And at some point, you kind of realize that, for example, I chose for Zeedz, you can't really recreate that with colored pencils. And then I bought, I didn't buy it. My grandparents actually gifted me my first tablet, and I got into the digital drawing game. And then over exposure on social media, I discovered the animation industry, and over that, character design and the whole stylization thing. Because I was not coming from fan art like a lot of people are, but more from drawing portraits and realistic stuff. So then basically I discovered that, and I decided I wanted to try myself on that. And I think from there it just spiraled, and then I ended up here. Yes.
And then you ended up here. So I think what you mentioned is quite interesting, like using social media for inspiration. Are there like specific channels like where you get your inspiration from, or like great inspiring artists that you look up to, or is it just the daily news stream feed we all like having on our phones each day?
Well, I think I had a time where I really checked every social media post on Instagram. I think I was kind of addicted to that. And then at some point it just stopped, and I was like, no, I'm bored now. But I think there's just a lot of great artists. And I think the good thing still is that you can discover a lot. With the algorithm change, it has changed. And even seeing that a lot of artists I like now have to live off making basically TikToks or like Insta videos, kind of sad, because we don't get the exposure we used to get, only if we kind of go with the vibe of pretending to be an influencer and stuff. And that's a little sad, because honestly, I don't really care about the art TikToks, but about the art itself. But there's definitely some artists, especially Aaron Blaise. He's like a former Disney animator, and through his learned Photoshop. So I was watching like all those speed painting videos, and then I got the student version of Photoshop that is like pretty affordable compared to Adobe.
I know.
Like the whole speed
I
and
know.
everything. And then through watching those videos of this specific YouTube channel, I learned how to digitally paint, and that's still my process. Basically, it's the same as he uses it. But yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. If there's someone out there listening who has connections to Instagram, please ask them to give us back the chronological feed and don't push TikTok so much. Yeah.
Got it. So this one Disney guy or girl was Aaron Blaise. Did I get this right?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So everyone who's like looking for design inspiration can check can check this out. Definitely, we will collect some links afterwards.
He also has
Anyway.
like nice tutorials if anyone wants to get into digital painting. This is not sponsored. He doesn't know me. He's like super famous. But
you find a referral link in the description.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So I mean, this in this regard, social media came out quite well for you, right? To introduce you to this whole area. Super interesting. And then something like within your design mind told you, well, I have to add this animation side to it as well, right? Can you like tell us, because you went to this university, right, in Denmark, to this school? Well, what was the idea behind like adding animation to like illustration?
The thing is that I never wanted to be an animator. But I think the animation industry itself is so big, but still don't know how many jobs and categories and specializations are in that category. And I was interested into visual development, which is basically also partly what I'm doing for Zeedz, which means considering what visuals you need for a story, for technical reasons, basically all the designs, and then developing that through visual images. For Zeedz, that means basically thinking about what we want to achieve with that style, what people should feel, how should the Zeedles feel like, and what do we need them for, what technicalities we need to tackle. And for animation, as in movies, it basically means what matches the story, which medium are we using? Are we using 2D and 3D? And also, is it animatable? Which does put some limitations on design. And what visual development kind of makes specific is that there is a storytelling component, and it's not just about design. That storytelling is basically in the hierarchy higher than pure design. So looking pretty is not enough. It has to tell you something. And that's what kind of intrigued me into getting into that. But it is pretty limited to the field of animation. And since animation is a rather big industry, but compared to other industry, pretty small, there's not a lot of opportunities of universities. Like you can study media or anything that goes into that. But if you actually want to break in, you need, sooner or later, you kind of need to find other like-minded people who also are specifically interested in animation. And now we're getting back to universities. There's not a lot of universities that are that specific. And listening to other podcasts of how other people kind of became designers for storytelling-based design, studying animation and then going from there kind of is the easiest path, even though it's not the direct path because there is none. And then what you also learn is that if you actually want to design for animation and you can animate yourself, it makes more sense to see what you actually need. Because there's special things you probably won't learn as a designer, but you will learn about movement and how things can turn in space and the whole making 2D things three-dimensional that you don't learn when you just learn design or like product design or, I don't know, graphic design. But you will only learn that while filmmaking or animation. And that's the long, short story of how I chose what to study.
No, I mean, in the end, I would totally agree that like the main layer, or however you want to call it, is always storytelling, right? You're always telling something, right? And this is also what we are doing, right? At Zeedz. So when we are creating whatever, I mean, the most obvious story we are telling is the story of the evil Lord CEO II combating the Zeedz, right?
Yeah.
But like on a tinier level, like even just designing one Zeedz and then imagining it like walking around is already telling some kind of story, right? So
yeah.
So great one, definitely. Also in preparation, I'm a wonderful podcast host. Obviously, this is what I do like all day. So in preparation of this for this podcast, I, as mentioned, had a look at your Instagram account once again, and I think so. So for everybody who wants to check it out right now, you can just go to the Zeedz website, click on Team, and then I think right below your image, there's a link to your Instagram account. I think the one word, or unfortunately, company that comes to your mind when you look at your like profile is like, this is Disney, right? This feels like this feels like those. I don't want to say back in the good old days when it like all felt so, I don't know, so emotional in a way as well. So I wanted to ask you first, am I right with this Disney analogy? And if so, what's your favorite Disney movie and what's your favorite Disney character?
Okay, so do you want me to get more into the geeky side of things or into the philosophical of how Disney style influences the whole art bubble?
Maybe we make a 50-50 thing.
Okay, I will try to keep myself short then. Because I think, for one, I don't want to say invented, but put a lot of money into character design in general and basically shaped the whole 2D movie experience. Which doesn't mean that what a lot of people think, that 2D is dead. There is actually a lot of 2D things going on, but the style that Disney used to animate and also the characters influenced the whole industry. And it also showed that you can make money with that, which you can see because, like you said, even my style kind of resembles that Disney-ish style. Disney does definitely have one style and that sells. And a lot of companies see that. And then you see like the low budget productions that kind of just steal and make a weird Ratatouille version or something like that. And people are like, yeah, no, because we kind of see that it's low budget because they aim high for like the thing that sells. But in the end, it's a money and time thing that they can't achieve that. Which is, on one hand, it's nice because the Disney style does have a lot of design aspects and rules that make it so appealing and that make it sell, but it also kind of hinders other companies from going away from that and trying something new. Recently, with the whole streaming thing, we've seen that, like Arcane, maybe some people have seen that, kind of brings a fresh side to that, and that is like a really good development. But speaking for myself, I think actually the art of Disney inspired me more than the movies, because I didn't watch that many Disney movies because my sister used to be scared of them. So I couldn't watch
Oh,
them as a
really?
child, had to kind of catch up on that in my early teens.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of why my style resembles that, is because I was interested in character design and of course was exposed to those artists that also shaped the Disney style, and then because I also thought it was just appealing. Also, I'm a sucker for children. I can't handle graphic adult stuff. I can't even watch the news. It's too brutal for me. And now coming back to favorite movies, I think recently, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a new Pixar movie that came out last summer called Luca.
No, not yet. But I'm thinking about going to the movies for 2 weeks now. So is it
See?
is it so new?
No. But it's on Disney Plus. I think it never came out in the cinemas. That's also perks of streaming services. But I think that was a really nice, fresh thing that also kind of got away a little from the Disney style. And then, of course, Lion King, because I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like Lion King.
Thank you, because that's what I wanted to add to this perfectly professional, in-depth Disney dive. Like, I just like the Lion King. It's just, but I'm reasonably older than you, so. But you like it too.
But Lion King also works because it's basically Hamlet with animals.
Yeah.
So is it that original? I don't know. No, but I really like it. I don't know. Have you seen the musical?
Yeah, actually in London, but at least 10 years ago, I was in London. Yeah, and it was it was definitely
but
something.
You haven't seen the German
I'm not the
version,
musical.
then?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just the English. Do they? Yeah, well, they sing in German, right? In the German version, obviously. Yeah.
It's not that bad, but I think compared to English musicals, it's still maybe I don't like the language. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, we're going totally off topic here, but that's something I'm not getting. Like, I mean, somebody wrote that song, and then somebody else overwrote that song. Yeah, but whatever. I wouldn't get this point. Like, just imagine your Zeedz, one of your Zeedz design, and then we give it to another country, and then somebody else like paints it over.
But honestly, I wouldn't mind to have a Zeedz musical.
Okay, we can agree on this, definitely. I would totally be up for that. So, like, before we move forward to Zeedz, like, talk a bit about Zeedz and what you're doing there. Like, but you basically answered this. So, with so many different like areas, sections, departments of design, like, when you could pick one, like, when you could do one, when you would have to choose one design tasks which you would have to do for the rest of your life, just one task. Would it be like painting little animals, or what would it be?
I think I would choose painting something, because I don't know. We have to broaden this again, because it's also an artist thing. So in my university, we have two main fields of studies, and one is character animation, and the other one is CG art. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the typical character animation girl, basically, because normally it's CG territory that they are happy if you say, can you please render this to look like stone and spend 50 hours on it, but it would always say yes to that task. I don't know. It just has something relaxing. It's like painting away, making something look nice.
Yeah.
I would be okay with painting a rock for the rest of my life.
A rock.
To be honest.
Oh wow, that went from inspiration very fast downhill, like just painting a rock.
I don't need much. No.
You don't need much. That's a good quote for the thumbnail of the podcast. So,
in the
as I
wrong.
said in the beginning, right now, just if people might are wondering, like, how can you get this university school animation thing and Zeedz all together? So, you were like you were a bit part-time, like over the last couple of months, but like from
Yeah.
March 1st, you rejoin forever, forever and ever. No, but you rejoined full time Zeedz, which we are super happy about as our very super ultra chief design officer, like overlooking the whole design department from a creative and responsibility side, which is amazing. Um, if you're now like looking towards this new adventure, which is also a bit old because you already done this, but like are there like specific things about Seeds or the development right now where you are super like extremely especially excited about? It can also be like one special cedar or like whatever.
I think kind of looking back at when we first met and talked about Seeds and how it has grown from there, I'm just very excited because we're at a point where we could move in a lot of different directions with a lot of
Mm,
promising new things, and nothing is set in stone. So I think it's just a great opportunity also looking at our team that is growing to kind of have everyone on board and to get people excited. And then kind of, I think it will be fun to look back at the year in 1 year
oh
and what
yeah.
happened. Because I think the last half year also a lot of things had happened that we didn't anticipate. And
No.
I think it's just nice to not know exactly what is coming and to just ride the wave. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. I mean, just imagine when we first talked, like it's almost a year now. I don't know exactly, but yeah, let's say 1 year has passed since then. I mean, it's crazy. If I would have told you where we are today, back then, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have just gone straight to drawing rocks. I don't know. Um, Very cool. So you came up like originally with the style of seeds, or let's talk about the seeders, like our little creatures. Like you created them. Can you like at least from like a superficial kind of view, like try to explain to all of us non-designing minds, like how do you approach something like this? I mean, I remember that we had those concepts, right? And of course we had mood boards and all this stuff. But then,
Yeah.
right, draw a nature magic inspired cactus monster. Like, where do you
Yeah.
start?
Honestly, that is almost you can take. Like I think I'm lost if I have to be a boss, but if you're trying to hit somebody's vision, that is basically what the designer does. That you
Mm-hmm.
have an idea, you and Ben, you basically had a vision that didn't have an image in your mind.
Mm,
You just knew some keywords, like we want that to be, it has to do something with sustainability, with plants, plant inspired nature. It should be cute. It should be basically like a pet you want to have. And
mm,
that's already quite a
exactly.
distinct vibe. And then we did have some mood boards that were basically just showing that we wanted to go into like a higher level of abstraction. So no
Mm-hmm.
real animals or real plants. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Something fresh in the sense that, like, if you look at NFTs now, or like especially like the collectible NFTs, it's it's oftentimes it's very simple, or like the simplicity is kind of a thing, and there's not that many painted things except for like artists selling work that they didn't create specifically for NFTs. And I think
Mm,
that was also like a key thing that we liked and saw. Then we still had the idea of like moving into 3D space, and there was like a lot of basic keywords that kind of shaped that. And then
mm.
what we did is to just have a lot of different options of sketches and inspirations, and then just
Yeah, I
checking back and
remember
forth of what
this
you like,
one.
what Ben liked. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had like a whole palette of random creatures, and then we just picked and matched them again. And I think then it was a pretty organic process. I don't
Yeah.
know. It felt like we were just looking for something that didn't already exist, but kind of shaping the idea down to that it fits our keywords. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense how I just explained that.
No,
That's how
that
it felt
makes
to me, at least.
that makes total sense. And I mean the best like proof that it makes total sense is like people loving those little creatures, right? So yeah, I mean that's what we heard or are hearing on a daily basis almost. Like there, as you said, there are so many like monsters or NFTs or whatever like creatures out there, but somehow you like those little things from us, right? And that's and that's a huge part of the credits for this, and props goes to you on this side. I have another question because I remember when Ben and we were starting about like thinking of the concept of Zeedz, we were always like that they were basically like it was very early, but there were like two different directions. You can either have like one kind of basic creature, and then you can come up with like just different colors and maybe some, I don't know, different things to wear, like or hats or whatever. Or you can like just what we did in the end, like come up with the whole like variety of different monsters. But the challenge here was, and I think it was a huge challenge that you solved in the end, to make like a tree seedle basically look the same and feel the same as a little fat almond seedle. And I mean, yeah, comparing an almond to a tree, or I can like, yeah, you get the point. Like how in the name of a seed do you do this?
I think one thing that kind of always comes in naturally is your own signature art style. Because at first, when we did the exploration, I was the only artist on the team, like in the very beginning. And I think you cannot, a lot of people try to find their style and kind of want that signature. And I never felt that way, but I've been told by people that they can tell if I drew something. I don't even see that, which is kind of funny.
I see that.
But,
I see that. Yeah.
see, but the moment I start painting something, it will definitely look a little slightly different than if someone else paints it. And then for me, it was easy to match the first creatures we created. But then when we got more artists on board, of course, it was kind of time to unwire the code of what makes the seal feel like a seal. And I think we had some basic rules that then kind of formed. And it's not that we set those rules from the beginning. It's more like what felt right. And sometimes we did have discussions about seedles in the beginning that didn't feel right. And we didn't exactly know why. We were like, maybe it's the eyes, maybe it's the color. And then looking back at the basic seedles we created, it was time to kind of sort out what is a seedle and what is not a seedle. And I think the main three words, what a seedle is or what a seedle always has to be, is nature inspired, cute, and you kind of need to think, I want this as a pet.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
give me this.
And design-wise, that kind of excludes some decisions, because design is, of course, also tied in with kind of psychology and how we've used design over the decades. For example, a lot of seedles are pretty roundish. They shouldn't look dangerous. Like, what makes them look dangerous? Maybe huge color contrast, maybe too bright colors, mixing too much. There has to be some kind of harmony color-wise and shape-wise. So, for example, you will never, I can spoiler that, you will never get a seedle that looks extremely dangerous and threatening and sharp and rough, something like that. You will never get that. You will always have something that you could technically also plant in your garden and it would somehow fit there. And yeah, I think it's an ongoing task to kind of figure out the nuance, because if we have a lot of different kind of categories of what seedles can be or what they can look like, and it's still growing, and we kind of have to find the path of how far can we push it and when is it not recognizable as a seedle anymore. But we're not done with that process.
We are never done. Totally agree. totally agree. But would you say, because so from my perspective, you were definitely looking from today, but also then back in the days, you were the perfect choice and like to fill this position of like defining this whole thing. So
Thank you.
I would go as far I would go as far as to say, like, although like designers can have the same kind of skill variety in their skill set toolbox, whatever, like you need to have this inspiration for a project, otherwise there's something missing, right? Would you agree to this?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, again, I think it depends on the pitch as well. For me, it was enough to have that vision that you gave me, but I also knew that I would get to paint something cute, something family friendly. So I was sold. I think there's a lot of artists who wouldn't be happy with doing that. They rather do something, I'm going to call it more adult-like, but just in the sense of like what adult animation, for example, looks like, more grotesque or more sharp or more, I don't know, more eccentric maybe. And since that style kind of also fits my what I need to be happy to paint on something, it was a good fit,
Yeah.
and it was definitely fun. And I think that's the main thing. If you can find fun in creating something, that it would always look better than if you just do it for another reason.
Yeah, definitely. I have
And
a
I mean, the
very
team was great too. It was just fun working
yeah.
with you. I mean, you could have been an asshole, and then I would have said no. But
I
that
can
wasn't
still
the
turn out
case.
as one. I can still turn out as one. So just wait, just wait long enough.
But now I've known you for at least 2 years, and that's only the time where we actually work together.
Yeah.
And I think so far you're getting on.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yeah.
I prepared one more very in detail question. So just imagine you would have to live the rest of your life like on a lonely island. Which Zeedle, like just imagine Zeedles are real. I mean, they are real. They are planted in the real
Yeah.
world. So how couldn't they be real? So now you have to pick one Zeedle who is supposed to live with you on this lonely island. Which Zeedle is it? And you
I
can
know
say
one.
any name. You can say any name. Just be aware that we have not revealed all of the 100 Zeedles yet.
Wait, let me
So,
check if we have reviewed this.
no. You can mention every Zeedle because it's
Okay.
only audio, and maybe people get excited then. So feel free. Pick one.
Okay. There's a story to that, but it's a very short
Please.
one. I would definitely pick the Litchi Zeedle because
The
I
Litchi
recently
Zeedle.
only learned more about litchis in finding reference process. And I didn't know that you can only buy them in winter if you actually want to eat them, not the seeds, but like the fruit. And I think it's been years since I've eaten them. And then I went to Edeka, our German store, and they had them, and I was so fucking happy. And I was inspired because we were working on that at the same time. I was like, this is great. I could eat them all day, and I could look at them all day. And that's why I would. Which one would you choose? Did you think about that?
I think so. I'm not making this up, and I know it's probably the one I've seen the most, but I still am not bored of looking at this little fat almond. I don't know what it is with this design. It has it's so small, but it's also so heavy. It almost feels like it's super wet, right? And it's not wet, but it's just very fat. Let's be honest. It's just a fat little almond.
Satisfying.
Yeah, and it's
Wait,
calming. It's like looking at the almond is just meditating. So that's my pick of the day. So
nice.
we've talked for some time now. Nice. So yeah, this would be a cool island of Zeedles.
Yeah.
Almond so Army. We talked. Yeah. We talked for some time now, and I also said, guys, once again, if you have questions for Alicia, we will I will pick some. You can post them here in our Discord in the questions or general channel, and I will also have a look at our YouTube live stream in 1 second if there are also questions. In the meantime, Alicia, is there anything we didn't tackle today? But you were so eager to talk about this specific topic today, so now is your chance to be the moderator here.
Well, I think it was a nice talk. First of all, thank you for having me. And also thank you for listening to everyone who joined it. It's really nice to see kind of the community grow as well. It's pretty amazing, actually. When we had the pre-sale, I was watching the Discord and I was driving back to Germany. And I remember stopping my car to take a break. And then I was basically just looking at the Discord for an hour. It was so amazing that there were so many people joining in. I think that's really nice. And I think and I really hope we can kind of keep that good vibes going.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
that's something about Zeedz, right? It's all like flower power, super positive happiness, right? And although obviously there are times of the day or of the week where you're not super flower power happy, but then again, you look at your lychee or your little fat almond, you're happy. You're happy again. Okay, I will check now if there are any questions. Here are some Russian questions. So I will ask Valdis right now if if there are some questions to be translated. So I see a lot of people typing here. I will wait for like 1 or 2 minutes. Either Valdis has translated me some questions or like there will be some new ones in the chat. I can translate for myself. So let me check. Otherwise, I will just continue asking you. I mean, at least one more question. At least one more question. So I want to talk about with you, or like this question is referring like to the evil Lord CO the second, right? Because this is for everyone here who hasn't seen our video. This is also something obviously our perfect Alicia draw and made everything put together there. Like how do you imagine, like in your creative brain and mind, like turn this character to be out? Like, will he just imagine the two of us having a fan talk here, like about what's going to happen in the next season with the evil Lord? Like, is he staying so evil? Is he just evil? Can we like turn him around? AKA, this is also the question: can we fight this damn climate change in the end? So what's your fan opinion on that?
Yeah, my fan opinion is that I like if characters are not completely black and white but also gray. So I would hope for him to be able to change his mind, of course, and to get to know him more as a villain, but also to defeat him, of course, because it's not good what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, we have to defeat him, but yeah, in a nice way, right? Because
but
we are
maybe
nice.
he falls in love with the Zeedz and then he kind of gives in. That's my hope.
Yeah, let's
That
hope
he
he gives
instead
in.
plants a flower garden for bees and butterflies.
Oh yeah. I like that vision.
Yeah.
So I have a question from the community from Kuikender. I always don't know how to pronounce your Dutch name correctly here. By the way, he's one of the awesome 2 human beings who attended the NFTX convention yesterday as our Zeedz ambassadors. And you can all watch our Instagram stories, and the first story highlight on our Instagram is all about this event from yesterday. So he has a question for Alicia. Not sure if the question has been asked. At what age did you start drawing? I think we didn't tackle the exact age thing.
No.
And what is your favorite thing or genre to draw besides rocks, maybe?
Good question. I think I started drawing or considering drawing characters and actually doing design work, as in not copying stuff, at 13, when I had a exchange student who was really good at drawing manga. And I really couldn't draw at that time. It was terrible. It might have been good for the age, but like if I look back, I don't look back. No, but I think I got my first tablet with 16, and then it was a lot of if you want to learn to draw, there's like a million resources on social media, and you can find a lot. And I think there's also a lot of artists offering tutorials and stuff. So I think you just have to put in the work to start and then let yourself find inspiration. And I think what I enjoy, my favorite genre.
I mean, is
Good
it
question.
horses? Maybe we can, because we haven't answered this fully. Like it
Oh,
says in
that's
your
true.
in your personal Instagram, like
Yeah.
bio sentence is like you are a friend of plants and horses. I mean, we all can imagine what plants is referring to, but
Yeah.
you'd like to draw horses, or you have horses?
I I used to go horse riding for basically I just stopped when I went to Denmark, because obviously it was kind of far away to go to visit a stable that is 15 hours away or 10 hours away. So I always had a sweet spot for Icelandic horses, and I was taking care of an Icelandic stallion for a long time. So they do hold a special place in my heart. And it's true. I think if I wouldn't know what to draw, and if I had an art block, I would always go back to either drawing Harry Potter fan art or horses. I think that's also like the most sketch things on my Instagram page is horses and Harry Potter.
Right, there are a lot of Harry Potters, stuff. Yeah.
It's a constant
Definitely.
source of inspiration. No, but I think it's always fun. Draw what is fun. Horses and Harry Potter.
That's a good slogan. We take this. Another question here from also from him would be, I mean, if Lord Theo II would grow even more evil, what do you imagine he would look like? I mean, maybe first we have to, like, for those who haven't seen the video, like right now he's like this a bit Lord of the Rings inspired, like kind of a wizard dude, right? And he's evil, but he's also, I mean, yeah, you have to hate him in some way,
Yeah.
but there's still hope.
I think he's mainly
right?
dumb.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, we even say he's not dumb, but he's kind of lost in a way because he doesn't see the path. So basically, he's mean and a bully, and that's how we imagine him to be.
Yeah.
He's not that frightening. He's more kind of laughable at, because he's really not getting the world right now.
So if he, to answer the question, if he gets more evil, like he's just getting more dumb, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he builds up his empire even, and buys himself a nice suit out of children's labor or something like that. Something evil.
Yeah, that makes sense. And final question, again, will there be a short Zeedz cartoon show on YouTube? Please say yes.
I wish. I wish. Hopefully.
Hopefully, right? But yeah, so from my side, I would agree. Yes, hopefully. Let's hope that everything works well with all the
depends on the
stuff.
community as well.
Right? It depends on the community.
You who wrote the comment, you can be the reason why there could be a show.
I mean, if that's not a good reason to ask questions, yeah, definitely. Okay, Alicia, now it's exactly the time I secretly hoped this video podcast would last.
Perfect.
Like 45 minutes. It's a perfect length for something like this. I really, really thank you for being a part of this podcast here and for being a part of Zeedz in general. I know everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, everybody gets like how damn important you are for this project, and I hope that everybody found it interesting to look a bit in your design head today, and I found it extremely interesting. Any final words from you?
No. I can't understand.
That's okay.
I just have a nice day and thank you for joining.
That's wonderful. Thank you for joining, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.